Welcome to this SQL and Database Fundamentals Study Guide, Part 2 of 4 from TestMole.com, where employers can test candidates and teams using pre-built or custom assessments. We also create free tests and guides like this. Please help us by liking this video. Subscribe for more study guides and free tests. And turn on notifications. Okay, let's begin. What is the difference between delete and drop? In SQL, managing data versus managing schema requires different commands. Delete is a data manipulation language (DML) command. It targets individual rows based on conditions, using where, and keeps the table structure intact. Drop is a data definition language (DDL) command. It removes the entire table object, including its definition, indexes, and all stored data, from the database schema. Let's review the options. A. There is no difference. B. Delete removes data inside a table. Drop removes the entire table structure. C. Drop is for rows. Delete is for columns. D. Drop is only for temporary tables. The answer is B. Delete is specific to row-level data modification, whereas drop is a structural command that deletes the entire table object. Other options incorrectly swap these roles or suggest limitations that do not exist in standard SQL. Which wildcard character represents 0, 1, or multiple characters in standard SQL? When using the like operator for pattern matching, SQL provides wildcards to represent unknown characters. The % symbol, acts as a variable length placeholder, matching any sequence of 0, 1, or multiple characters. Choose between A _, B %, C, D star. The answer is B. The % symbol is the standard SQL wildcard for any sequence of characters. The underscore is for single characters, while and are common in other languages like regex or shell scripting, but are not standard SQL wildcards. Which wildcard character represents a single character? To perform precise pattern matching where the exact length of a string is known but one character is variable, use the underscore wildcard. It acts as a placeholder for exactly one character in that specific position. Possible answers are A %, B _, C star, D caret. The answer is B. The underscore represents exactly one character. The % is for variable length strings, and the other symbols listed are not standard SQL wildcards for single character matching. How do you start a single-line comment in SQL? Comments are essential for documenting SQL queries. For single-line comments, standard SQL uses 2 consecutive hyphens. Everything following these characters on the same line is ignored by the database engine. Choose between A //, B #, C, D /*. The answer is C. The double hyphen is the ANSI SQL standard for single-line comments. While some specific database systems might support hashtag or //, they are not universally recognized in standard SQL, and slash is used exclusively for multi-line blocks. If you don't specify ASC or desk in an order by clause, what is the default? The order by clause determines the sequence of your result set. If you omit the sorting direction, the database engine defaults to ASC, ascending, which sorts values from lowest to highest, e.g., A to Z or 1 to 10. Let's review the options. A. ASC, ascending. B. Desk, descending. C. Random. D. No sorting is applied. The answer is A. Ascending is the default behavior in SQL to ensure predictable output. Desk must be explicitly declared if you want the reverse order, and random sorting requires specific database-dependent functions. What is a foreign key used for? A foreign key is a field or collection of fields in one table that refers to the primary key in another table. It acts as a cross-reference between tables, establishing a relationship that ensures referential integrity. By enforcing this link, the database prevents actions that would destroy links between tables, such as deleting a record that is still being referenced by another table. The options are A. To encrypt the database. B. To link two tables together. C. To uniquely identify a row in its own table. D. To speed up data insertion. The answer is B. Linking tables is the primary purpose of a foreign key. Encryption is handled by security protocols. Primary keys identify rows within the same table, and indexes, not foreign keys, are used to optimize performance. Which SQL data type is used for true or false values? SQL uses specific data types to store binary logic. While the Boolean type is standard in many systems, some older or specific database engines, like MySQL, represent Boolean values using Tiniant, where 1 represents true and 0 represents false. Type purpose. Boolean stores true/false. Varchar stores text strings. Float stores decimal numbers. Bit often used for low-level binary flags. Choose between A. Bit, B. Boolean or Tiniant in some systems, C. Varchar, D. Float. The answer is B. Boolean is the standard type for logical values. Varchar is for text, float is for numbers, and bit is typically reserved for specific bit field storage rather than general logical flags. What does the truncate table command do? The truncate command is a data definition language (DDL) operation. It is significantly faster than delete because it deallocates the data pages used by the table rather than logging individual row deletions. Truncate empties the table but keeps the schema, columns, indexes, constraints intact. Drop removes the entire table structure from the database. Delete removes rows one by one, allowing for where clauses. Here are the options. A. Deletes the table structure. B. Deletes the data inside a table but keeps the structure. C. Renames the table. D. Removes duplicate rows only. The answer is B. Truncate resets the table to an empty state while preserving its definition. Drop would remove the structure entirely, and neither renaming nor duplicate removal are functions of this command. Which of the following are valid SQL constraints? Select all that apply. SQL constraints are rules applied to columns to ensure data accuracy and reliability. Common constraints include: primary key uniquely identifies each record. Foreign key ensures referential integrity between tables. Check ensures values in a column meet a specific condition. Default provides a fallback value if no data is supplied for a column. Possible answers are A. Primary key, B. Foreign key, C. Check, D. Default. The answer is A, B, C, and D. All listed options are standard SQL constraints used to enforce data integrity and business rules at the database level. What is the standard SQL format for a date? The ISO 8601 standard defines the YYYMMDD format as the international standard for date representation. SQL databases adhere to this format to ensure consistency across different regions and systems, avoiding ambiguity between day and month ordering. Here are the options. A. DDMMYYYY, B. YYYYMMDD, C. MMDYYYY, D. YYYYDDMM. The answer is B. YYYMMDD is the universal SQL standard. Other formats like DDMMYYYY or MMDYYYY are regional variations that can lead to data interpretation errors. When creating a table, which part of the statement defines the column names and data types? The create table statement is the fundamental command used to define the structure of a new database table. The syntax follows a specific pattern where you name the table and then provide a comma-separated list of column definitions enclosed in parentheses. Each column definition typically includes column name, a unique identifier for the data field. Data type, the format of the data, e.g., integer, text, real. Example. Possible answers are A. The values after the insert into command. B. The list inside the parentheses after the table name. C. The where clause. D. The from clause. The answer is B. The parentheses immediately following the table name act as the container for the schema definition. Other options are incorrect because insert into adds data, where filters existing rows, and from specifies the source table for a query. What does the SUM function do? SQL provides aggregate functions to perform calculations on sets of data. The SUM function is specifically designed to perform arithmetic addition across all non-null values in a designated numeric column. Input, a column containing numeric values. Output, a single scalar value representing the total sum. Behavior, it ignores null values by default. Let's review the options. A. Adds up the values in a numeric column. B. Counts the number of rows. C. Finds the highest value. D. Calculates the average. The answer is A. Sum specifically performs addition. It is distinct from count, which tallies rows, max, which identifies the largest value, and avg, which computes the arithmetic mean. Which function is used to calculate the average value of a numeric column? To find the central tendency of a numeric dataset, SQL uses the avg function. This function sums all values in a column and divides that total by the number of non-null entries. Syntax: select avg column name from table name. Note, like other aggregate functions, avg automatically excludes null values from both the sum and the count of items. Choose between A. Mean, B. Average, C. Average, D. Count. The answer is C. avg is the standard SQL keyword for calculating the mean. Mean and average are not valid SQL aggregate functions, and count is used for tallying rows rather than calculating values. Which SQL function returns the largest value in a set? The max function is used to retrieve the highest value from a specific column. It is highly efficient for identifying extremes in datasets, such as the most recent date, the highest salary, or the largest ID number. Usage: it works on numeric, string, alphabetical order, and date, time data types. Example: select max, price, from products. Choose between A. Top, B. Max, C. High, D. Greatest. The answer is B. Max is the correct standard SQL function for finding the largest value. Top, high, and greatest are either non-standard or used for different purposes, such as limiting result sets or comparing values across multiple columns. Which SQL function returns the smallest value in a set? The mn function is the counterpart to max, designed to return the lowest value in a set. It is frequently used to find the earliest date, the smallest measurement, or the minimum value in a range. Usage: like max, it is an aggregate function that processes a column and returns a single result. Example: select min order date from orders. Choose between A. Bottom, B. Min, C. Low, D. Least. The answer is B. mn is the standard SQL function for finding the smallest value. Bottom, low, and least are not the standard aggregate functions used to query the minimum value of a column in a table. In MySQL, which clause is used to specify the number of records to return? When querying large datasets, you often only need a subset of the results. The limit clause is the standard way in MySQL to restrict the number of rows returned by a select statement. It is typically placed at the very end of the query, after any where, group by, or order by clauses. The options are A. Top, B. Limit, C. First, D. Count. The answer is B. Limit is the specific keyword used in MySQL to cap the result set. Top is used in SQL Server. First is not a standard SQL clause for row limitation, and count is an aggregate function used to calculate the number of rows, not to restrict the output. How do you select records where country is not Germany? Filtering data often requires excluding specific values. SQL provides several ways to express not equal to. While syntax can vary slightly between database engines, the following are widely accepted in standard SQL. Equals, the standard not equal operator. The ISO standard not equal operator. Not, a logical operator that can be used to negate a condition, e.g., not column equals value. The options are A. Where country equals Germany. B. Where not country equals Germany. C. Where country Germany. D. All of the above, standard SQL syntax. The answer is D. All three options, equals and not, are valid ways to exclude records in standard SQL, making the final option the correct choice. Which of the following is not a relational database? Relational Database Management Systems, RDBMS, organize data into structured tables with predefined schemas and relationships. Common examples include MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Oracle. In contrast, NoSQL databases like MongoDB use flexible, document-based models, making them non-relational. The options are A. MySQL, B. PostgreSQL, C. Oracle, D. MongoDB NoSQL. The answer is D. MongoDB is a document-oriented NoSQL database, whereas MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Oracle are classic examples of relational databases that rely on tables and SQL. Which of the following are valid SQL aggregate functions? Select all that apply. Aggregate functions perform a calculation on a set of values and return a single scalar value. They're essential for data analysis. Sum adds all values in a numeric column. Count returns the number of rows that match specified criteria. avg calculates the average value of a numeric column. Note that length is a string function, not an aggregate function, as it operates on individual values rather than a set. Possible answers are A. Sum, B. Count, C. Average, D. Length. The answer is A, B, and C. Sum, count, and avg are all standard aggregate functions that process multiple rows into a single result. Length is a scalar function that returns the character count of a single string, not an aggregate. Can you sort by multiple columns in an order by clause? The order by clause allows you to sort results based on one or more columns. When you provide multiple columns, the database sorts by the first column listed and then uses subsequent columns to break ties for identical values in the preceding columns. Example, order by country. City sorts primarily by country and then alphabetically by city within each country. Let's review the options. A. Yes. B. No. The answer is A. SQL explicitly supports multi-column sorting by separating column names with commas in the order by clause, allowing for hierarchical sorting logic. Which operator means not equal to in most SQL dialects? In SQL, filtering data often requires excluding specific values. While the standard SQL 92 specification defines as the official not equal to operator, most modern database management systems, such as PostgreSQL, MySQL, SQL Server, and SQLite, Also support. Equals as a convenient shorthand. Both operators function identically in practice, allowing you to filter out rows that do not match a specified criterion. The options are A equals, B, C caret equals, D, both A and B. The answer is D. Both, equals and are widely accepted and functionally equivalent in almost all SQL environments. The caret equals operator is non-standard and rarely supported, making it an incorrect choice. Can a primary key column contain null values? A primary key serves as the unique identifier for each record in a database table. To ensure data integrity and reliable row identification, the database enforces two strict constraints on primary key columns. Entity integrity: the value must be unique for every row. Non-nullability: the value cannot be null because a null value represents an unknown or missing state, which would prevent the database from uniquely identifying that specific row. Choose between A, yes, B, no. The answer is B. Primary keys must uniquely identify every row. Allowing a null would violate this requirement, as null is not a value that can be uniquely compared or indexed for identification. Which join returns records that have matching values in both tables? An inner join is the most common way to combine data from two tables. It creates a result set by comparing a join column in the first table with a corresponding column in the second table. Only rows where the join condition is met, meaning a match exists in both tables, are included in the final output. If a row in one table does not have a corresponding match in the other, it is excluded from the results. Here are the options. A, left join. B, inner join. C, full join. D, cross join. The answer is B. Inner join specifically filters for the intersection of two tables. Left, full, and cross joins include non-matching rows or create Cartesian products, which do not meet the strict matching requirement. What does a left join return? A left join, or left outer join, prioritizes the left table, the one listed first in the query. It returns every single row from the left table, regardless of whether a match exists in the right table. If a match is found, the corresponding data from the right table is included. If no match exists, the columns from the right table will simply return null values for that row. Here are the options. A, only the records that match in both tables. B, all records from the left table and matched records from the right table. C, only records from the right table. D, all records from both tables regardless of matches. The answer is B. This join ensures the left table is fully represented. The other options describe different join types. A is an inner join, C is a right join, and D is a full join. Which clause is used with aggregate functions to group the result set by one or more columns? The group by clause is essential when you need to perform calculations on subsets of data rather than the entire table. It is used in conjunction with aggregate functions, such as count, sum, avg, max, or mn, to collapse multiple rows into a single summary row for each unique value in the specified columns. The options are A, order by, B, group by, C, sort by, D, cluster by. The answer is B. Group by is the standard SQL clause for aggregating data by categories. Order by is used only for sorting the final output, while sort by and cluster by are vendor-specific or non-standard terms. Thanks for watching. With TestMole.com, you get everything in one place, from easy candidate invites and role-based access, to deep analytics and built-in anti-cheat mechanics. We'll assess code answers, free text responses, and issue verified certificates. Ready to simplify your hiring? Give TestMole a try. And one more thing. If you like this video and want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe.